There is a silent architect behind the visible world, an unseen hand that sketches the blueprints of galaxies, the spiral of seashells, the symmetry of snowflakes, and the pulse of your own heartbeat. It is not random, nor is it chaos. It is a language older than words, a code embedded in the very fabric of existence. This is the domain of sacred geometry, the mathematical poetry that whispers the secrets of creation. To the untrained eye, geometry is merely lines, angles, and Shapes, a dry subject confined to textbooks and classrooms. But for the mystics, the sages, and the seekers who have peered beyond the veil, geometry is alive. It is the skeletal structure of reality itself, the hidden scaffolding upon which the universe is built. From the pyramids of Egypt to the mandalas of Tibetan monks, from the spirals of galaxies to the double helix of DNA, the same patterns repeat, as if the cosmos is murmuring the same eternal truth in infinite dialects. Why does this matter? Because sacred geometry is not just an esoteric curiosity, it is the hidden control system of existence. It governs the way energy flows, the way matter organizes itself, and even the way consciousness expands. The ancients knew this. The builders of the Great Pyramid encoded it. The Renaissance masters like Da Vinci painted it. Modern quantum physicists are only now beginning to grasp it. And yet, for most of humanity, this knowledge remains obscured, locked away in symbolism, dismissed as coincidence, or worse, forgotten entirely. Consider this: every atom, every cell, every planetary orbit follows geometric laws. The golden ratio, 1.618, dictates the proportions of your face, the branching of trees, and the curl of ocean waves. The flower of Liphia pattern found in temples across the world contains the blueprint for all creation, according to ancient mystics. Even sound, when visualized, forms geometric patterns, cymatics, proving that vibration and form are inseparable. What does this tell us? That reality is not random. It is designed. But by whom? Or by what? Some say God. Others say an advanced intelligence. Perhaps it is simply the way existence must unfold, an inevitable consequence of energy seeking order. Whatever the source, one thing is clear. Sacred geometry is the interface between the seen and the unseen, the bridge between the material and the metaphysical. To understand it is to glimpse the operating system of the universe. And yet, modern society has divorced itself from this wisdom. We live in boxes, work in grids, and consume fragmented knowledge, never pausing to see the grand design. We have been conditioned to believe that reality is solid, fixed, and separate from us, when in truth, it is a living, breathing, geometric dance of energy. The moment you awaken to this, nothing looks the same. The walls around you are no longer just walls, they are crystallized geometry. The sky is no longer just sky, it is a fractal unfolding. Your very body is no longer just flesh, it is a walking, breathing temple of sacred proportions. This is the journey we are about to undertake, a descent into the hidden architecture of everything. We will explore why these shapes hold power, how they influence consciousness, and what happens when you begin to see them everywhere. This is not passive knowledge. It is a keyhole that can unlock deeper perception, heightened creativity, and even altered states of awareness. But be warned, once you see the patterns, you cannot unsee them. Once you recognize the geometric undercurrent of reality, you begin to decode existence itself. To step into sacred geometry is to step into the mind of the cosmos, where form and meaning merge into a silent, pulsating order. This is not merely about shapes, it is about the principles that birth reality itself. The patterns we observe, the spirals, the spheres, the interlocking lattices, are not arbitrary. They are the footprints of an intelligence so vast, so precise, that it has woven itself into the very fabric of space and time. The primordial patterns. Where geometry begins. At the heart of sacred geometry lie a few fundamental forms archetypes that reappear across scales, from the quantum to the cosmic. The circle, for instance, is the first shape to emerge from nothingness. It is infinite, boundaryless, a perfect echo of the void before creation. From it springs the vesica piscis, the almond-shaped intersection of two circles, often called the womb of the universe. This is where duality is born, light and dark, masculine and feminine, expansion and contraction, and from this duality, all other forms unfold. The flower of life, an ancient symbol found in Egyptian temples and sacred texts, is perhaps the most profound example. Composed of overlapping circles in a hexagonal lattice, it is said to contain the templates for all existence, the mathematical seeds from which atoms, organisms, and galaxies arise. Modern science confirms this intuition. The same patterns appear in cellular division, crystal growth, and even the distribution of planets. The golden ratio, divine proportion. Then there is phi, 1.618, the golden ratio, number so ubiquitous that it seems to whisper from every corner of nature. It governs the curve of a nautilus shell, the branching of trees, the proportions of the human body, and even the spiral arms of galaxies. Why does this ratio feel so harmonious? Because it is the mathematical signature of balance, the point at which growth and stability meet. Artists like Da Vinci and architects of the Parthenon embedded it in their works, knowing instinctively that it resonated with something deep within the human psyche. But the golden ratio is more than aesthetic, it is functional. It allows energy to flow without resistance, whether in the veins of a leaf or the structure of a hurricane. This suggests something radical, that beauty is not subjective, but encoded into the laws of physics. Platonic solids, the building blocks of reality. Beyond flat shapes, sacred geometry extends into 3 dimensions with the Platonic solids, 5 perfectly symmetrical forms: tetrahedron, cube, octahedron, dodecahedron, icosahedron, that Plato believed were the atoms of the universe. Modern science has found that these shapes do, in fact, govern molecular arrangements, crystal lattices, and even the structure of space-time. The dodecahedron in particular was considered sacred by the ancients, associated with the ether, or the 5th element. Some researchers now speculate that the fabric of the universe itself may be shaped by an invisible dodecahedral matrix, the hidden control mechanism. So why does sacred geometry control everything? Because it is the language of energy. Everything in existence vibrates, resonates, and interacts according to geometric laws. Sound waves form geometric patterns. Electromagnetic fields arrange themselves in sacred ratios. Even human consciousness, when mapped in EEG scans, produces fractal waveforms. This implies something staggering. Thought itself may be geometric. Ancient cultures knew this. They built temples aligned with sacred ratios to amplify energy. They meditated within mandalas to restructure their minds. They encoded these truths in art, architecture, and myth because they understood. Whoever masters the geometry masters reality itself. There is a story written in the language of geometrion that predates words. One that exists, not in books, but in the silent architecture of temples, the silent turning of stars, the silent unfolding of a fern in spring. This is the story of how the cosmos remembers itself, how it whispers its secrets to those who know how to see. The lost civilization and the language of the gods. Legends speak of an ancient civilization, perhaps Atlantis, perhaps something older that understood geometry as the tongue of the divine. The philosopher Plato wrote of a time when humans communed directly with cosmic principles, when knowledge was not learned but remembered. In these myths, Geometry was not a tool, but a living force, a bridge between mortal minds and the mind of creation itself. The Egyptians encoded this in their temples. The Great Pyramid is not just a tomb, it is a geometric antenna, its dimensions locking into the harmonics of the earth, its chambers designed to resonate with specific frequencies. The initiates of old did not study sacred geometry, they experienced it, entering altered states within these structures to perceive the fabric of reality directly. The alchemist's secret: squaring the circle. One of the oldest and most enigmatic geometric puzzles is the quest to square the circle, to create a circle and square of equal area using only a compass and straight edge. Medieval alchemists saw this as more than a mathematical challenge. It was the symbol of transformation, the fusion of spirit, circle, and matter, square. The impossibility of the task under classical rules was the point. It mirrored the human struggle to unite heaven and earth within oneself. This is why sacred geometry appears in alchemical texts not as diagrams, but as maps of enlightenment. The Emerald Tablet of Hermes Trismegistus declares, "As above, so below, a geometric truth, for the same patterns repeat at every level of existence." The serpent and the spiral, Kundalini as geometric awakening. In esoteric traditions, the human spine is depicted as a coiled serpenta, literal and symbolic spiral. Kundalini Yoga teaches that awakening this energy causes it to rise in a double helix, mirroring DNA and the caduceus of Hermes. This is no metaphor, it is a geometric unfolding of consciousness. Those who have experienced this describe visions of mandalas, torus fields, and infinite lattices, proof that the body itself is a vessel of sacred geometry. The hidden message of crop circles. In modern times, one of the most baffling phenomena tied to sacred geometry is the appearance of crop circle intricate, mathematically precise formations that materialize overnight. Skeptics dismiss them as hoaxes, yet some defy explanation, displaying geometric ratios, like the Julia-Set fractal, that were unknown to the public at the time of their discovery. Are they messages? A reminder that the language of the universe is still speaking, still waiting to be decoded? The hero's journey as a geometric path. Even mythology follows geometric laws. Joseph Campbell's hero's journey is not just a narrative template, is a circular mandala of transformation. The hero descends, the vesica piscis of birth and death, faces trials, the fractal branching of choices, and returns changed, the spiral of ascent. This is why sacred geometry appears in all hero myths, from the labyrinth of Theseus to the chakras of Eastern mysticism. These stories are not mere legends, they are mnemonics, designed to trigger an inner recognition, remembering that reality is built on geometric law. To know sacred geometry is one thing, to live it is another. This is not abstract wisdom reserved for mystics and mathematicians. It is a living framework that, when understood, rewires perception, amplifies creativity, and unlocks hidden layers of reality. The question is no longer, what is sacred geometry? But how do I align with it? The body as a temple. Biogeometry and healing. Your physical form is a walking testament to sacred proportions, the golden ratio in your limbs, the Fibonacci spiral in your fingerprints, the toroidal energy field of your heart. Ancient healing systems like Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine mapped the body's energy centers, chakras, meridians, as geometric nodes. Modern research in cymatics shows how sound frequencies rearrange matter into geometric patterns, suggesting that vibrational medicine using tuned frequencies for healing works because it restores the body's natural geometry. Practical takeaway: breathe geometrically. The cadence of inhale, expansion, and exhale, contraction, mirrors the pulsation of the universe. Try the 4 to 7 -8 breath. Inhale 4, hold 7, exhale 8, to sync with harmonic ratios. Meditate with shapes. Visualizing the flower of life or Platonic solids during meditation can reorganize disordered energy. Architecture of power, spaces that awaken. From the pyramids to Gothic cathedrals, sacred structures were designed as resonant chambers to elevate consciousness. Their proportions align with planetary harmonics, creating spaces where prayer, ritual, and even thought take on amplified potency. Modern science confirms that certain room dimensions, like those based on the golden ratio, enhance creativity and reduce stress. Practical takeaway: rearrange your space. Incorporate circles, mandalas, spirals, art, or phi-based proportions in furniture layout. Even a simple salt lamp's fractal light patterns can shift a room's energy. Use sound consciously. Play 432 Hz music, a frequency tied to natural ratios, or chant in a rounded space to amplify geometric resonance. The geometry of thought, rewiring the mind. Thoughts are not formless, they generate form. EEG scans show brainwaves creating fractal patterns, and studies on manifesting reveal that focused intention follows geometric pathways, like the torus field. This is why ancient mystics used yantras, geometric meditation diagrams, to structure consciousness itself. Practical takeaway: draw to manifest. Sketching sacred shapes like the seed of life, while focusing on a goal, imprints it into the subconscious. Break mental loops. When stuck in cyclic worry, visualize a spiral expanding outward. This shifts energy from contraction to flow. Nature's classroom, learning from the master architect. A pine cone's Fibonacci sequence, a spiderweb's radial symmetry, a galaxy's logarithmic spiral nature is the ultimate teacher of sacred geometry. Spending time in forests or near water, both structured by fractal patterns, can recalibrate human biofields. Farmers using crop circles geometry report increased yields, proving these patterns influence growth. Practical takeaway: walk a labyrinth. Unlike mazes, labyrinths are unicursal, single path, geometric tools for meditation. Walking one mirrors the hero's journey. Garden with intention. Planting in hexagonal patterns like beehives maximizes vitality and yield. The dark side. Geometry used as control. Not all applications are benevolent. The same principles that heal can also manipulate. Modern cities are often laid out in grids, suppressing organic flow, and social media algorithms exploit fractal engagement patterns to addict users. Recognizing this is the first step to reclaiming your energy. We have journeyed through the silent language of the cosmos, from its primordial shapes to its living presence in our bodies, our minds, and the spaces we inhabit. But this is not merely knowledge to be collected. It is a call to remembrance. Sacred geometry is not something outside of you, it is you. The moment this truth moves from intellectual understanding to embodied knowing, a profound shift occurs. You stop being a passenger in reality and start becoming its conscious co-creator. The ultimate realization: you are the pattern. Every atom in your body, every thought in your mind, every pulse of your heart follows the same geometric laws that spin galaxies and sculpt mountains. The ancients spoke of the microcosm and macrocosm, the idea that the human being is a miniature universe. Modern quantum physics echoes this. The fractal patterns of your neural networks mirror the branching of cosmic webs. You are not separate from the design, you are its living expression. This realization dissolves the illusion of powerlessness. If reality is built on geometric principles and you are made of those same principles, then your very presence alters the fabric of existence. Your breath, your posture, your intentions all emit geometric codes that interact with the larger matrix. The choice: sleep or awaken. Most people live in a world of surfaces, unaware of the hidden architecture beneath. They see a tree, but not the Fibonacci sequence in its branches. A star, but not the golden ratio in its light. A thought, but not the toroidal field it generates. This is not their fault. It is the result of a culture that prizes fragmentation over wholeness, noise over resonance. But you now stand at a threshold. To see geometry everywhere is to awaken to a living universe, one that responds to your awareness. This is why the mystics whispered of gnosis, knowing that transforms. It is not enough to believe in sacred geometry, you must align with it. The practice, embodying the code. Become the observer. Start noticing geometric patterns in everyday life. The spiral of a coffee stir, the hexagonal tiles underfoot, the concentric ripples in water. Each observation strengthens your connection to the hidden order. Create with intention. Whether drawing, building, dancing, or speaking, imbue your actions with sacred ratios. Sing in harmonic frequencies. Arrange your workspace to reflect the flower of life. Cook meals with ingredients proportioned by the golden mean. Art is not just what you make, it's how you live. Meditate the shapes. Close your eyes and visualize the Platonic solids rotating within your energy field. Each shape corresponds to an element: earth, air, fire, water, ether, and can rebalance your psyche. Break the illusion of separation. When faced with chaos, remember, disorder is just geometry you haven't recognized yet. The cracks in a broken vase still follow fractal laws. The turmoil in your life is realigning you toward a higher pattern. The warning and the invitation. This path is not for the faint of heart. To awaken to geometric consciousness is to lose the comfort of ignorance. You will see the manipulation in rigid grids, the disharmony in unnatural frequencies, the way modern systems suppress organic flow. But you will also see the way out, the blueprint for a reality built on beauty, balance, and truth. So I leave you with this challenge: stop seeking and start seeing. The secrets of the universe are not hidden in some distant temple or dusty manuscript. They are in the curve of your smile, the orbit of an electron, the spiral of a galaxy. They have always been here. You have always known them. Now, remember,